York City.
I hate
New York City.
I hate New York City. When I was 14 years old, I filled up an entire notebook writing one thing over and over and over again.
I hate New York City.
Maybe I knew somewhere in the back of my head that I didn't hate the actual city itself. I just hated everything that it wasn't. It wasn't home, and I determined that it would never be home. When I was 14 years old, I spent a lot of time determining what I would be and what I wouldn't be. I watched a lot of TV and knew that I didn't want to be the typical surly teenage daughter, so my hormones and I went to war.
Honey, look, a special on blueberry pancakes. You love blueberry pancakes. We're stopping and eating as many blueberry pancakes as we can.
You can probably guess from my mother's ravenous desire to please me that the divorce had been bad.
I hope they have streusel on top just like you like. And let's order coffee.
I was the most miserable, self-pitying teenager that has ever lived. Dr. Phil would have loved me.
Extra cream and sugar for me. I'm so bad.
I was raised to pretend.
These pancakes are to die for. You have to try them, honey.
Mom told me that we were moving to New York because she had a great job opportunity. It's funny how sneaky adults think they are.
I could live off of pancakes.
And when I was 14 years old, I pretended like everything was fine with me.
Should we get more coffee? It's so good, especially for a diner.
Mom didn't know what had happened the night before when I'd said goodbye to Dad.
Dad, I really don't want to go.
I know, honey. I'm going to miss you.
No, Dad, you don't understand. I can't go. I'll die if I have to go.
Honey, you won't die.
The condescension was what made me explode in all my hormonal glory.
I'm not kidding. I can't go. I don't want to go. It's not fair. Dad, if I have to move, I am going to die. Please, Dad, let me stay. Please.
Honey.
Please, Dad, please, please.
To me, it wasn't dramatic. I really did feel like I was dying. When I left my hometown, I wasn't going to be me anymore. I was going to be someone else, and I didn't want to be anybody else. I didn't want the old me to die.
Only an hour away, honey. Are you excited?
For everything that it was and everything that it wasn't.
I hate New York City.
We're here. Wow, look at that skyline. So beautiful. We'll have to go down and see the city later. Wouldn't that be fun, Mads?
We didn't have time to set up my bed, so I get to sleep on a mattress. I told Mom that it was fine because I didn't know how to tell her how much it wasn't.
When I was 14 years old, I laid in my room and cried. I found out 10 years later that my mom was crying in the next room. This wasn't what either of us wanted, but divorce was a thing that happened to almost everyone. But you only got so long to cry about it. You could cry over Grandpa dying, but not over Dad choosing the family that he liked better.
That's not what it is, Madison.
Then what is it, Dad?
It's something I have to do.
It's something you have to do for you, Dad. What about me? Am I just supposed to disappear? Do you want to start over? Do things the way you really wanted?
Mads.
I still hate that nickname.
I hate you! You're so stupid!
Madison!
Go ahead. Go off to your new family. I hope it's better. I'll never talk to you again.
Does anybody else ever look back at themselves and cringe?
Madison, please. I want to keep having a relationship with you.
Well, that's not gonna happen. Bye, Dad.
When I was 14 years old, I thought words were just words.
Mads, wait!
I didn't realize how much they could scar. I was so angry and so determined not to show it.
This is Madison. Please leave a message or don't. Bye.
Hey Mads, this is, well, I guess you probably know who it is. Just give me a call when you get a chance, okay?
In an effort to avoid my real problems, I started exploring. There were all kinds of nooks and crannies in the apartment, but most of the time there were just dead spiders and mouse droppings. and it got boring quickly. But then I pulled away the loose paneling above my bed. When I was 14 years old,
I found a shoebox full of letters in my wall.
it was August 18th.
I literally just found a shoebox full of letters in my wall.
It confirmed what I had already suspected.
New York City is weird.
When I was 14 years old, I found a shoebox full of envelopes with dates on them. And I opened the first one.
I hate New York City.
I hate
New
York
City.
I hate
New York City.
I devoured the rest of the letter like my life depended on it.
I feel bad saying it because I know neither of us want to be here, but we didn't have a choice. There was nothing left for us back in Rockport except a reminder of the way things used to be. But seriously, I hate everything about New York City. But my father says things can change. He says everyone has the power to change the course of someone's life with small acts of goodness. And he says even though we might not be able to change New York City won't change us. And I believe him, I really do, but still, I hate New York City. Less than a month till school starts. I hope everyone back in Texas is sending me good vibes like they told me they would. I'm going to need them. Sincerely, Jessica Walsh.
I read the letter once and then I read it again. The next morning, I couldn't stop myself. I read it again.
We might not be able to change New York City.
But New York City won't change us.
I could have just torn the rest of the envelopes open, but something made me want to wait for the next date. I felt like I could breathe.
This is Madison. Please leave a message or don't. Bye.
Hey, Mads. Your mom says you got in safe. I'm glad to hear it. Just call back if you feel like it. No pressure.
August 20th came and I tore open my new letter, eager to learn more about my new friend.
It's weird, but TV pretty much got New York City right. It's big and loud and brassy, but I have to admit, it's kind of fun. We went to Times Square today and we took a picture with a weird Elmo knockoff. He smelled bad, but it was still fun. My father seemed a little bit more like himself today.
Want to get pizza, Jess?
I haven't seen my father eat a full meal since my mother got sick.
I'm going to have heartburn for days, but it's worth it.
I know my father is nervous about his new position at work, but he never says anything. I used to think that was admirable, but now it just makes me hurt.
She would have loved this. All the lights.
I miss her so much. Sincerely, Jessica Walsh.
Jessica's mom died.
My dad was gone too, but he was on the other end of a phone.
I miss her so much.
I miss him so much.
I wish I could say that I called him right then and there and set things right, but I told myself that I was too tired.
Just call back if you feel like it. No pressure.
I'll call him later.
I'll be honest, I don't remember the days between the letters. Once I started to get to know Jessica, all I wanted to do was keep reading her letters. She was like the wise older sister that I never had and the mom that I wanted.
You want to go get hot dogs? There's the coolest little stand outside today.
School was coming and I was scared. I followed Jessica's story and hoped that it would be my own.
We had senior orientation today. It was better than I thought it would be. I wasn't the only new kid.
New York City is crazy, huh? Where are you from?
Texas.
Oh, Texas. Get along, little doggies and all that.
Yes, I actually come from a long line of dog ranchers.
Oh, of course. The favorite profession down there.
Where are you from?
Canada.
Oh, Canada, eh? Oh, Maple Leaves and hockey and all that, eh?
You literally just described me perfectly. That was kind of scary.
I'm Jessica.
Matt.
He's cute, but I'm not holding my breath.
I would die if a cute boy talked to me.
Time for orientation, honey.
Orientation, also known as literal torture for the antisocial.
But the fact that Jessica went to orientation and came out in one piece made me think that maybe I could do it too.
Hey, you're new here, aren't you? I think you're in history with us.
Katie, you're so aggressive.
Oh, come on. She looks lost. Can we help show you around?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I was terrified to put myself out there. But then I remembered how easily Jessica had interacted with Matt. Maybe if I just was brave, I could feel brave.
It's so nice to see a new face around here. Some of us have been going to school together since kindergarten. I am so sick of seeing the same people every day.
Thanks a lot, Katie.
Oh, stop being so sensitive. Okay, now this is Mrs. Lee's classroom, and she's the best.
Even if her tiny room makes you want to die of claustrophobia. She's the history teacher? Yeah, we always sit in the front because we're kind of cool.
Oh, and watch out. Every year, Lee has the freshmen do a presentation on 9/11. I was kind of hoping she'd retire this year, but looks like it's still on.
Parents usually get a lot of backlash because the material out there is really disturbing.
I found myself kind of looking forward to the project, though I never would have admitted it. I had dignity. Before I went home, Katie and Alyssa gave me their numbers to text. In a weird way, I felt like Jessica might be proud of me.
New York City won't change us.
But it was changing me for the better.
I'm free September 2nd. See you then. Thumbs up emoji, smiley face emoji, lifting hands emoji.
Ew! Stop sending emojis, Katie!
Arrow emoji, poop emoji.
Sure.
That's you. You're the poop.
Okay.
Katie and Alyssa were so different from my old friends, but I was glad that they were. I was starting to really like different. It wasn't nearly as scary as I thought it would be. I just remember wanting to be the best person I could possibly be, which meant that I was going to have to do something that I really didn't want to. But I had to. I felt like Jessica and Matt and her father were looking over my shoulder now. I had to do this.
Hey Mads, I was hoping I might catch you again.
Hey, Dad.
Oh, um, hey Mads, I didn't think you'd answered.
I'm mad at you.
I know,
I can't forgive you. Not right now.
and I'm sorry, but I have to
Dad, just no excuse is gonna make it better. Because I get that you're a person and all and you have to live your life and stuff, but to me, you've only ever been one thing. And you basically just said you don't want to be that anymore.
Mads, it's a lot more complicated.
I know it is, but it isn't. You made a commitment when you married Mom and when you had me, and you just decided that what you wanted was more important than the both of us.
Mads, you have to understand. I've been living my entire life like this. I can't.
Dad, I don't have to understand. I'll never understand. I hope I don't do to my family what you did to mine. But Dad, you're the only dad I have. And I won't hate you forever. I just need time, okay? Just a little bit of time.
Okay, Mads.
It was what Jessica would have done. But because I wasn't nearly as brave or as brilliant as her, I cried deep into the night after we hung up. But Jessica taught me that admitting that you were hurting was the most powerful thing a person could do.
My parents got divorced.
Random alert.
Is that why you came out here? Yeah.
Mine too. When I was 7.
I was 12. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Still hurts. Yeah, for me too.
Everybody's parents get divorced nowadays, so it's supposed to be normal. But it doesn't feel normal.
No. No way.
For the first time, I let my friends see me, and it was terrible, but it was so wonderful.
Hey, thanks for being so honest today, Mads. If you ever want to talk, just hit us up.
3 thumbs up emojis, 2 heart emojis, and 1 girl with brown hair emoji.
You are a scab on society.
Hashtag blessed.
I think new kid orientation was supposed to get us excited for a new school. Did you feel like they were trying to convince us that school isn't really that bad?
Judge me all you want, but I like school, especially history.
And why do you like history?
It's a story, it's a narrative. It shows a lot about the human condition and human nature. I think you can learn a lot from history.
Like how to not repeat it?
That's the cliche, but it's true.
Those who fail to learn history are doomed to repeat it. No big deal. Just some Winston Churchill.
That was actually first written by George Santana in 1905.
Wow. I'm way out of my depth here.
No, but seriously, it's incredible. Humans don't change. Their nature doesn't, at least. If we don't decide to be different, then we'll continue to do the same horrible things again. We'll learn to hate people because they're different than us. That's really the theme of history, fear of the unknown. We focus on the things that make us different as opposed to the things that make us the same. Understanding history is understanding that things are not set in stone and nobody is a slave to their circumstance. You know?
Wow. I am seriously out of my depth here.
But you know, right?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Man, you're brilliant.
I don't think I'll ever forget the way he said it. I can't stop smiling.
I didn't tell her she was pretty.
You're brilliant.
This was so much more.
Guys are dumb, but that's okay.
I couldn't stop thinking about what Jessica had said about history. It had never occurred to me that I could shape my story, that who I was could be something that I determined and not the people around me. I'd been back at school for 2 days when I read Jessica's final letter.
Hey, Jess.
Hey, want to talk?
About?
Your first day back at work tomorrow.
Oh. Well,
Are you nervous?
yeah.
You can talk to me.
It's going to be a hard first year without her.
She was the best person I've ever known.
Before I met her, I was lost, and now I just feel lost again.
You know what she'd say, right?
That's enough sunshine, Prince of Denmark.
She wanted us to be happy.
Be happy, don't be Hamlet.
I still think we should trademark that.
You know, some days it's hard to look at you, Jess. Right now, everything you just said, you're her.
Talk about setting the bar high.
You've already passed that bar, Jess. You're growing up to be the most remarkable young woman.
Dad?
I'd say I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Okay, so since you like me so much right now, they're doing this retreat thing at our school tomorrow, so they're not going to have classes or anything. Do you think maybe I could come with you and help you get set up at the office?
Jess, I don't want you to miss school.
Dad, they aren't having classes or anything. It's literally just like mixer games and stuff.
Just for the morning.
Just for the morning. Oh, and can Matt come? His parents are calling him out tomorrow too, so he could help carry boxes for you and stuff.
You've been spending a lot of time with this Matt guy, huh?
Yes, he's my really good friend.
Oh, friend.
Yes, friend. You're even less subtle than Mom.
Ooh, that hurts.
Love you.
Love you too, Jess.
When I finished that last letter, something felt empty inside of me. But then I realized that there didn't need to be more. Jessica had shared parts of her life with me, and that was enough. So I put the last letter away and got back to work on my project.
Matt, I'm ordering pizza. Double anchovies, right?
I had always loved history, but I didn't know much about 9/11. The more I learned about it, the more real it became. That's the problem with loving history. Sometimes you accidentally live it.
Yin Liang, 40th floor. At around 8:46 a.m., I heard a low-pitched boom noise. When the floors start moving, it swings back and forth slowly like floating in the air. We are quite alarmed.
We all sense the immediate danger. After a moment of silence, people stand up and start looking around for a clue, shouting, "What happened?" Our managers are telling everyone to leave the building immediately. Others are still startled. They're still asking, "What's going on? What happened?" We shouted back, "Get out of the building now."
Michael Wright, 81st floor. All of a sudden, there was a shift of an earthquake. The way I can best describe it is that every joint in the building jolted. You ever?
Been in a big old house when all the posts creak. Now picture that creaking being not a matter of inches, but of feet. And you're thinking, it's the gas main. It's so percussive. It's so close. I just opened the door, looked outside, and saw fire.
Adam Ostrike, 24th floor. I ran to the other side of my office and saw fire raining down. Parts of the building was falling and on fire along with paper and other things.
We had to look way up because the plane hit in the higher floors. The impact hole was huge. It looked like 10 stories were burning. The fire seemed to crawl around the tower. The winds were so high it caused the smoke to spin in a large swirl.
Jeff Birnbaum, South Tower. When we got to about 50 feet from the South Tower, we heard the most eerie sound that you would ever hear. A high-pitched noise.
And the popping noise made everyone stop. We all looked up. At the point, it all let go. Yes, it had to be the rivets. The building let go. There was an explosion, and the whole toppling toward us and started coming down.
Constance Labetti, 99th floor. So I stood up and I just turned my body towards the window, and I could see the big airline coming straight towards us. I just stood frozen. I couldn't move. I could see it coming closer and closer. I could see the cockpit. I could see inside the cockpit, the tinted windows of the cockpit. That's how close I was. And then it just bellowed into Tower 1. And for that moment, just for that moment, I was almost sighing of relief. Till I realized all of those people that had just been killed in that tower.
What's going on?
It bellowed into Tower 1.
And suddenly, I remembered something.
No.
Something pulled at my conscience, gently at first and then harder until panic began to seep into my every pore. No, it couldn't be. I was wrong. But I began to remember the little things, scraps of something that I thought didn't add to a narrative, pieces of some terrible puzzle clicking together.
That's where your dad's gonna work. You know, they threw that spire on top literally just to make it the tallest building in the world. So weird.
No.
It's just going to be a much bigger deal than my last job, you know? Of course I'm nervous. It's in one of the most important buildings in New York City, the crown jewel of the skyline.
No, please.
I've heard that when there's a lot of wind, the building will actually bow and sway like a precarious metal kite.
Please,
8 years ago,
please
there was
no.
a bomb in the building. I don't think my father knows, and I'm not going to tell him.
September 10th, 2001.
He's scared of heights.
I'd always loved being right.
Please, please, no.
I had seen the casualty list. It was so long that I could hardly stand to look at it, but I had to because I had to know that I was wrong. Jessica and Matt and her father had gotten out because if they
Jessica Renee Walsh.
my Jessica, there was a man's name with the last name Walsh right by hers. And there were so many Matthews, so many that it had to be wrong. I couldn't accept it. Jessica's story was one of goodness and beauty and hope and light, and that couldn't be the end. It couldn't.
New York City wouldn't
What
change.
kind of a sick joke was this? What kind of disgusting world punishes someone who didn't do anything wrong? What kind of horrible planet do we live on that other humans could decide when to end someone's life? And for what? For what? What right did they have to take her life away? I felt like I was dying because it couldn't be true. Things like this just couldn't be true.
The world can't be like this. It can't. The world can't be this dark and terrible. People can't be this evil. If the world is this evil, I can't live in it. I can't.
When I was 14 years old, I pictured someone that I loved and admired burning to death.
Please, no. Please, no. Please, no.
I hate
Yes.
Honey, what happened? Is it school? Did something happen?
Something happened 16 years ago.
Honey, tell me, please, please. Is it about Dad?
I told her everything. I didn't want to because I was sure that my goofy mom knew nothing about pain and loss and heartache. But I had to tell someone. But my mother sat next to me and read every letter.
Wow.
Are people really this evil?
Honey, there's so much evil in this world. It can blacken hearts and minds, and people do terrible things because of it, but people are just people.
None of it had anything with Jessica or Matt or her dad. They died for nothing.
No, honey, they
They
didn't.
died for nothing. All these people. Nothing.
No, honey, they didn't. Everyone's story means something.
Jessica never got to finish her story. Mom, I'm not doing this 9/11 project. I'll do a project on something else. I can't do it. Please, please don't make me do it. Please email Mrs. Lee.
Is that what you need, honey?
Yes, Mom.
Okay, sweetheart.
At school the next day, everything felt hazy. Jessica was dead, and so was I.
Madison, do you have a moment?
Yes, Mrs. Lee.
I understand you'd like a different project for tomorrow. I read your outline. You have a lot of excellent research already. May I ask why you're switching projects?
I would discover later that my mother had told Mrs. Lee everything. At the moment, I just assumed that she, like all adults, was omniscient.
I knew someone.
Who was in the building?
Yes.
Someone you loved and admired very much?
Yes.
Then why don't you tell their story?
She's dead. That's the end.
Do you think her story is important?
I can't.
Why not?
I'm afraid.
Of?
My story ending before I'm ready.
Have you ever read the back cover of a book before?
Yeah.
Does it tell you everything that you need to know about a book?
Well, no.
No. It's what's inside the the book that's most important. Our stories only end when the power of our influence dissipates. We are not a billion separate hardcover books not touching each other. We are stacks of paper flowing endlessly in and out of each other. Her story is part of your story. We are not the things that happen to us, Madison. We are what we do and who we are in here. So I ask you again, do you think her story is important?
Jessica was dead, but I felt her hand on my shoulder. My friend.
Yes.
Then you must tell it.
So I did. It took me the whole night, but I did. When I was 14 years old, I stood up in front of my freshman history class and told a story about a girl that I had never met, a girl that had died terribly, but a girl that had left an indelible mark on my soul.
Everyone has the power to change the course of someone's life with small acts of goodness.
Each year, I read the words of my Jessica and hold them closer to my heart. But I have never, ever been able to let go of the most profound feeling of loss, a childish sense of entitlement that I deserved to meet her. But Jessica taught me that life isn't about what we deserve. And besides, I think I was meant to find those specific words of hers. They met me right where I was and pulled me from a pit darker than I ever had to know.
Mom, my feet hurt.
This is Ellie. She's 14 years old.
Can we please sit down for like 5 seconds?
My girl. She's hurting and she's hiding it. Her father and I were unhappy, so we left each other.
I'm just gonna text Amelia.
She doesn't care if people like her for who she really is. She just wants to be liked.
Amelia and her dad are going to Steamboats for dinner. I'm jealous.
We come to New York City every year.
What do fallen arches feel like?
And she hates New York City.
Mom, I think my arches fell.
I had wanted to tell her Jessica's story when she turned 14, but I didn't know that her life would be so closely mirroring mine. Here we are at the 9/11 memorial, and I can't say a word.
What do you think Dad's doing right now? Do you think he's with his girlfriend?
I know, she feels like she's going to die. I remember. But then there was Jessica. She helped me to understand that you can feel like you're dying, but you don't have to die.
What are you looking at, Mom?
My eyes are always drawn to her picture, my first and truest friend. I hope you know Jessica somehow. Let me thank you one last time.
Mom?
Honey, come here. I want to show you something.
Jessica Renee Walsh. Who is she?
Understanding history is understanding that things are not set in stone and nobody is a slave to their circumstance.
When I was 14 years old, I found a shoebox full of letters in my wall belonging to Jessica. This is her story.